The republics of the Soviet Union of the Union Republics of the Soviet Union were ethnically based administrative units that were subordinated directly to the government of the Soviet Union. For most of its history, the Soviet Union was a highly centralized state. The decentralization reforms during the era of Perestroika and Glasnost conducted by Mikhail Gorbachev led to the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. Overview. According to Article 76 of the Constitution of the Soviet Union, a Union Republic was a sovereign Soviet socialist state that had united with other Soviet republics in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Article 81 of the Constitution stated that the sovereign rights of Union republics shall be safeguarded by the USSR. In the final decades of its existence, the Soviet Union officially consisted of 15 Soviet Socialist republics. All of them, with the exception of the Russian Federation, had their own local party chapters of the All-Union Communist Party, outside the territory of the Russian Federation. The republics were constituted mostly in lands that had formerly belonged to the Russian Empire and had been acquired by it between the 1700 Great Northern War and the Anglo-Russian Convention of 1907. In 1944, amendments to the All-Union Constitution allowed for separate branches of the Red Army for each Soviet republic. They also allowed for republic-level commissariats for foreign affairs and defense, allowing them to be recognized as de jure independent states in international law. This allowed for two Soviet republics, Ukraine and Belarus, to join the United Nations General Assembly as founding members in 1945. All of the former republics of the Union are now independent countries, with 11 of them being very loosely organized under the heading of the Commonwealth of Independent States. However, most of the international community did not consider the Baltic countries to have legitimately been part of the USSR. The Baltic states assert that their incorporation into the Soviet Union in 1940 under the provisions of the 1939 Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was illegal, and that they therefore remained independent countries under Soviet occupation. The position is supported by the European Union, the European Court of Human Rights, the United Nations Human Rights Council and the United States. In contrast, the Russian government and state officials maintain that the Soviet annexation of the Baltic states was legitimate. Constitutionally, the Soviet Union was a federation. In accordance with provisions present in the Constitution, each republic retained the right to secede from the USSR. Throughout the Cold War, this right was widely considered to be meaningless. However, the corresponding Article 72 of the 1977 Constitution was used in December 1991 to effectively dissolve the Soviet Union when Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus seceded from the Union. In practice, the USSR was a highly centralized entity from its creation in 1922 until the mid-1980s, when political forces unleashed by reforms undertaken by Mikhail Gorbachev resulted in the loosening of central control and its ultimate dissolution. Under the constitution adopted in 1936 and modified along the way until October 1977, the political foundation of the Soviet Union was formed by the Soviets of People's Deputies. These existed at all levels of the administrative hierarchy, with the Soviet Union as a whole under the nominal control of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR, located in Moscow within the Russian Federation. Along with the state administrative hierarchy, there existed a parallel structure of party organizations, which allowed the Politburo to exercise large amounts of control over the republics. State administrative organs took direction from the parallel party organs, and appointments of all party and state officials required approval of the central organs of the party. Each republic had its own unique set of state symbols, a flag, a coat of arms, and, with the exception of Russia until 1990, an anthem. Every republic of the Soviet Union also was awarded with the Order of Lenin. Union republics of the Soviet Union. Number of the Union republics of the USSR varied from 4 to 16. In majority of years and at the later decades of its existence, the Soviet Union consisted of 15 Soviet Socialist republics. Rather than listing the republics in alphabetical order, the republics were listed in constitutional order, which, particularly by the last decades of the Soviet Union, did not correspond to order either by population or economic power. The annexation of the Baltic republics in 1940 is considered an illegal occupation by the current Baltic governments and by a number of Western countries, including the United States and the European Union. The Soviet Union considered the initial annexation legal, but officially recognized their independence on September 6, 1991, 3 months prior to its final dissolution. Former Union republics of the Soviet Union. The Transcaucasian SFSR was formed from the Armenian, Azerbaijan and Georgian SSRs. It was divided back to the 3 SSRs in 1936. The Karelo-Finnish SSR was restored to the Karelian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, which belonged to the Russian SFSR. Its successor state is the Republic of Karelia within the Russian Federation. Other Soviet republics. The Socialist Soviet Republic of Byelorussia, in winter of 1919. The Lithuanian Byelorussian Soviet Socialist Republic was proclaimed in 1919 but fell very soon. The Galician Soviet Socialist Republic. The Donetsk Krivoy Rog Soviet Republic. The Don Soviet Republic. The Cuban Soviet Republic. The Cuban Black Sea Soviet Republic, the Latvian Socialist Soviet Republic, the Lithuanian Soviet Socialist Republic, the Mogan Soviet Republic, the Soviet Republic of Nassau, the Odessa Soviet Republic, the North Caucasian Soviet Republic, the Stavropol Soviet Republic, the Taurida Soviet Socialist Republic, the Terek Soviet Republic, the Ukrainian People's Republic of Soviets, the Ukrainian Soviet Republic, the Black Sea Soviet Republic. The Far Eastern Republic existed in 1920 to 1922 as formerly independent state, being at Soviet control de facto. The Abkhazian SSR, soon after its establishment in 1921, belonged as a contractual republic to the Georgian SSR and by extension to the Transcaucasian SFSR in 1922. Its status was changed to an autonomous SSR, the Georgian SSR, in 1931. It is now the breakaway Republic of Abkhazia, which is not recognized by Georgia or most of the international community. The Khwarezm People's Soviet Republic was divided between the Turkmen and Uzbek SSRs. The Bukharan People's Soviet Republic was divided between the Tajik, Uzbek, and Turkmen SSRs. The Turkestan Soviet Federative Republic was proclaimed in 1918 but did not survive to the founding of the USSR, becoming the short-lived Turkestan Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic of the RSFSR. The Crimean Soviet Socialist Republic was also proclaimed in 1918, but did not become a Union Republic and was made into an autonomous republic of the RSFSR, although the Crimean Tatars had a relative majority until the 1930s and 1940s according to censuses. When the Tuvan People's Republic joined the Soviet Union in 1944, it did not become a Union Republic, and was instead established as an autonomous republic of the RSFSR. The leader of the People's Republic of Bulgaria, Todor Zhivkov, suggested in the early 1960s that the country should become a Union Republic, but the offer was rejected. Unrealized Soviet states. The Bessarabian Soviet Socialist Republic, the Commune of the Working People of Estonia, the Provisional Polish Revolutionary Committee, autonomous republics of the Soviet Union. Several of the Union republics themselves, most notably Russia, were further subdivided into autonomous Soviet Socialist republics. Though administratively part of the respective Union republics, ASSRs were also established based on ethnic cultural lines. The republics at the dissolution of the Soviet Union, under Mikhail Gorbachev, openness and restructuring were intended to liberalize and open up the Soviet Union. However, they had a number of effects which caused the power of the republics to increase. First, political liberalization allowed the governments within the republics to gain legitimacy by invoking democracy, nationalism, or a combination of both. In addition, liberalization led to fractures within the Communist Party which resulted in reduced ability to effectively govern the Union. The rise of nationalist and right-wing movements, notably led in Russia by Boris Yeltsin, in the previously homogeneously communist political system led to the crumbling of the Union's foundations. With the central role of the Communist Party removed from the Constitution, the Communist Party lost its control over the political system and was banned from operating after an attempted coup d'état. Throughout the unraveling of the restructuring, the Soviet government attempted to find a new structure which would reflect the increasing power of the republics. Some autonomous republics, like Tatarstan, Checheno-Ingushetia, Abkhazia, South Ossetia, Crimea, Transnistria, Gagauzia, sought the Union Statute in new Union Treaty. Efforts of foundation of Union of Sovereign States proved unsuccessful and the republics began to secede from the Union. On 8 December 1991, the remaining republic leaders signed the Belavezar Accords which agreed that the USSR would be dissolved and replaced with a Commonwealth of independent states. On 25 December, President Gorbachev announced his resignation and turned all executive powers over to Yeltsin. The next day the Council of Republics voted to dissolve the Union. Since then, the republics have been governed independently, with some adopting significantly more liberal policies while others, particularly in Central Asia, retain leadership personnel from the Soviet time to this day.